What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Is this week 3 of Tilt City now, or are we at 4 weeks? This is 3.
I'll say three. Three works.
Spurs have won 1-0 3 times. I'm Alex Hooper, week 3 of Tilt City, and I'm here with Tom Stoss. Tom, buddy, quite a weekend. Anything in particular taking you to Tilt City this week?
I'm tilting. I was gonna say originally it was playing, my favorites that has really bitten me in the ass over this weekend. But I couldn't think of anyone besides my boys at Leeds. Really poor start to the season for them. I'm a little worried. And Rafinha has mostly looked good, but even he was that's the biased guy that I wish I would have faded today. I'm worried about them, but they might just be leveling off after last season. Who knows?
Yeah, they're not quite as swashbuckling currently. They're kind of pinned back. If Burnley pins you back, then your offense ain't, or you're attacking early.
Yeah. I don't know if people have figured them out or what, found a way to get them uneven, and then they just go downhill from there. I don't know. We'll see. There's a whole season left.
Yeah, we're early yet. 338s. Perfect division.
How about you, man?
I don't know if this is the worst tilt or the best tilt. And this is, I'm probably going to say it a million times unless I reverse course, but I was 1000% okay with my process. And the results were just a kick in the pants all weekend. I didn't feel like I had many flaws in my game. I felt like everything that I should have done, I did, at least mostly. So we'll see as we take a look through this, but I felt all right with how I played. And I just guess I couldn't catch enough variance because there was a lot, especially on Saturday. All right. Before we get going, of course, I haven't done the plugs. Like the video, subscribe to FSI, leave a comment, call us names, all of that. Folks over there are great, and we want them to be in front of you as much as possible because Lord knows they've helped us. All right, let's dive into it. The day started very wonderfully with, let me turn my light off here. The City absolutely pounding Arsenal. Arsenal are bottom of the table currently.
Love to see it. We love it.
So it got out of hand early. It was good to on 7. I hadn't even gotten back into bed after the 7:30 kickoff. I was like, I'm not going to stay up for this. I'm going to get some rest before the Classics night. I did do lineups, but I got back in bed, looked at my phone, and already had a score from Gundo, from Jesus, then Ferran Torres, goal confirmed by VAR. So 2 goals in already. Granit Xhaka, that's his time. He's like, all right, guys, I'm done. He's out of here. I didn't see what caused it. I have no idea if it was a bad tackle or what. Does it tell us? Just red card.
But he does love to get red cards. He loves it.
Oh yeah.
So he could have just been hitting his quota for the week. Who knows?
And of course, he was one of the 2 Arsenal guys that I played a ton of.
Right, naturally. Yeah.
So Jesus from Grealish. Rodri, a nice little long distance shot from Ferran Torres. And then Torres again rounds out his wonderful day with an assist from Mahrez, who came in for Jesus. So let's look at that one really quick. I had a lot of Torres. My angle, and this might sound novel to me, but I haven't done it that much. Find the cheaper guy that can score, captain him, surround him with floors. Hope he scores. Didn't work for me here. Worked later in the day. We'll get to that. But Torres, Grealish, who was the fade again, all things considered, I think. But we'll have to take a look at it. But yeah, I thought Leno would get plenty of shots on goal. I thought he'd stop more than he let in, at least, and that was even. So nothing doing there, but
better than Xhaka.
Right. And there was a point where I looked at all the Arsenal players, and I think 5 of 11 were negative. So, all right, let's take a look at the winner here.
This has got to be which Arsenal guy do you like? Which ones do you pick? Did you get to just one and then go from there?
You had to have Torres cap, you had to have Jesus, you had to have Gundo. So yeah, Grealish and Rodri and the best possible Arsenal. No Rodri, but
Rodgers.
Diaz and Holding.
Oh, Holding. Wow, what a good day out of him comparatively.
So if I would have
Somehow.
just gone for the center backs instead, I could have just grabbed some random center backs. All right. So here's Emu up, fantastic player. Jesus capped. Ederson. I didn't realize Cancelo had nice. So apparently
Of
Rob
course
Holding
he
was the
did.
guy at 4.
Okay, that was the one.
Check a couple of
Huh.
these. Gundo cap. There's Rodri, his first time. Nothing from Smith Rowe. Shaka. Shaka. All right, I don't feel bad for playing him. Saka, but you get Rodri in there. No Gundo. No Jack. I'm looking for one that like I would have been more likely to play up here. Like with the Torres cap.
Was Leno more expensive than Xhaka? I can't see the.
Yes.
It's too small. Okay, all right. That makes sense.
4,000, Xhaka 3,400. So
yeah.
So that was that. I mean, yeah, it really was just about the top ones were all 5 ones. Where's the first 4 to? Is it me? It is. Okay. And I got negative points out of it. So if I would have just swapped Xhaka for Holding, I mean, like already there, I'm sitting pretty. Excuse me. Yeah. So just the difference with DS instead of the -2. All right. Yeah. So City Roulette yet again.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to the classic slate real quick. We got another 5-gamer. We expected goals. They happened. They even ended up happening in the spots that we thought they would. Just none of the people we thought they would be from.
No.
Except like the first 3 were chalk and the rest were just like, here's another Connor Gallagher goal. So Villa and Brentford. Let's see. It was Tony from Janssen and then Buendia from Ings. Buendia, who I have played a ton, did not play at all on this day. I did play plenty of Ings.
Right.
So I said I love my process, but I didn't play Buendia. So that one actually made sense.
These 5 games, man, you just run out of these guys after a while. I can't get a hang of it. There's always somebody that goes like wanting, and I don't even know if Buendia is the make or break of this, but he's one of those guys that, it gets left out.
Yeah, he ended up just odd man out for me. And if I had something in front of me that was like, your exposure to Emi Buendia is 0, like right. It's more about getting the right lineups, and I felt like I had the right lineups than just trying to find exposure to a player. But I think somewhere I could have looked at it and been like, yeah, I think I like Buendia more there. So 2-0 Everton. This is one of the win conditions I had. Was I needed Brighton to fail and Everton to play well, and they did. But Damari Gray, who I still was not playing, especially with the heightened price, with the assist from Allen. So like, no, I didn't. I favored Richarlison so much over Calvert-Lewin, and it got me. I've been playing Calvert-Lewin like crazy, and I think it could have made my day a lot better if I would have just swapped that out, because I had a decent amount of Richarlison. So this was the one that we expected to be crazy, and it ended up being crazy. So we got the Callum Wilson goal quick. Jacob Murphy is a fantastic play if you can fit him in whenever.
Yeah, he was. It was going to be hard for me between him and Richie from now on. Justify in one or the other. I might not have to switch him at the same position, but Murphy was all over the place. And in a game against like a team like Southampton, I'm going to keep him in mind a lot more.
I just expected Richie to be bombing so much more, and just didn't happen.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Sure. All right, so Elyounoussi levels it the 74th minute. A beautiful Alan St. Maximin finish, followed by a beautiful high spinning kick and a jaunt into the crowd in the 91st minute, and then a pretty soft penalty, if I recall, and James Ward-Prowse puts it home. The Elyounoussi goal was particularly tilting just because, I was getting exposure to Armstrong and Adams. Let's see. Genipo, I might have had somewhere, Livramento. Like, I had exposure to so many people, and then it's always just that one guy. So that's how that went for me. Norwich scored, and I expected Timu Pukki to get a goal, and he got the penalty. But the Jamie Vardy goal in the 8th minute and then I didn't even realize he got the assist on the Albrighton goal. Like, again, two guys I was not getting to. Vardy, I probably should have, but I stayed away from him because of I thought he would be high owned, and he was, and that kind of killed me. So that's kind of all that there. And then a game of will he get there with Michael Antonio? And the answer is yes. Pablo Fornals stayed hot with the assist from Antonio. He, of course, gets a goal in the 68th minute, but it was the Connor Gallagher show this weekend, and he was the slate breaker with 2 goals, which, you're having conversations like, does he have enough floor for me to play in cash? He definitely doesn't have upside. Then he does this. So let's take a look at some cash really quick, and then we'll go to the GPPs. Get out of that. So I actually was able to slay the dragon this week after 2 weeks of losing to my guy. I finally got him thanks to Jordan Pickford clean sheet. I forget who was the first week. Last week it was Damari Gray. And I thought I was still going to go down because of Buendia. We both played in Buemo. I had thoughts of playing Zaha, who was barely outperformed by the much more expensive Jared Bowen. Surprise, surprise. Both played the same defenders. Both had Young. So it was really like it was the keeper and Rashika against Zaha. Wait, where did I miss Buendia? Because we had him Buemo. There's one more guy I'm missing.
Wait a minute. Who?
No, so it was Buendia and Zaha from Rashika and Bowen, and then the keepers. So really quick, he got the goal here, but 2802. And on my side, I had 25-5 plus keeper. And still only won by 9. I thought it was.
I'm glad both of you also bid on Ashley Young. I saw how forward he was on Sofa, and I got really, really, really excited. And then I saw Livramento too, and I got really excited. But I favored Young a ton more, right. And Livramento was the guy for the punt.
Yep. And even probably in a better matchup against Brentford. So.
Oh yeah, right. I could have sworn, but that's how it goes.
Right. So this is one cash. I'd like to show one where I win and one where I don't, but I haven't been playing a bunch. But so I hit a nice little prize on Tuesday in Champions League. So I played a little more volume this weekend, and I decided, hey, for the show, I'll take on Redcoat. And boy, that went well. Also Ashley Young, but he also got the Livramento.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
So a 3 defender build, but pivot from Dina, who early on has not been that involved.
I want to pivot from him all the time. There's times where he ends up being 2 points better than the guy I do go to, so it ends up working out, for everyone else. But
right,
I'm always looking to get off him somewhere.
Yep, and that's how it went. But so Pascal Gross gets there. Right. Buendia obviously gets there. Paying down allows him to move up to Gross and Buendia from Bowen and Embuemo. And everything else was similar. Yeah. So the difference, let's see, that's 2,400, 2,500 with Raya savings. And then, you get to pay up. So, Gross didn't even score. Rashika didn't even score. Ward-Prowse did. Buendia did. But Livramento, Redcoat literally found all of the best plays, which is totally unsurprising because he's the man. All right. Let's look at King of the Pitch qualifier. And guess who won? It was Redcoat. All right. So I wanted to look at these because I talked about it last week. These are all the sharps. You look at this top 3 for sure. I know Animal is high. He plays a ton in a bunch of different sports. Roadman's very good. There's Saramek. There's Redcoat again. Ryan, Belangi, 10. These are all the great players, and you want to get different here, especially. So I guess this is how you do it. So He had Connor
That's different.
Gallagher.
Yeah, that's different. I'll do it.
So you get the correlation with Pickford and Dina, which I went to plenty. I kind of thought the same thing with Livermento and James Ward-Prowse, just like maybe,
Right.
but both of them still got there. Rashiko's a great play. Then Rama instead of Antonio, which I thought was smart. And even though it didn't work out, like I was thinking about doing that and I did not. So no real side taken here. You just wind up with Connor Gallagher at 32.1% in this particular contest. So I want to look at the $4 really quick and see. He's got to be here. 18% owned in the $4. So like you're among the sharps, and all of a sudden you get 32% and he goes off. Like I don't know how they do it. I don't know why. Like you're paying down for him here to get up to Benrahma and have that differential, but like I don't think Redcoat planned on Connor Gallagher putting up 33. But
I don't know, man. I think if he ended last season pretty well too, right? He was a pretty good cheap play.
West Brom, yeah.
I think, yeah, right. I guess it carried through to Crystal Palace. I guess they're the ones that have a good player in him. I don't know. Okay, I'll be keeping in mind. Yeah, not gonna forget him next time.
Even without the 24 points from goals, he's still at 9, and
yeah,
like at
that's
4,500 in a pretty bloated midfield pool. Bloated as in not a ton of talent there. Like that's the way to go. So
yeah.
So JWP,
yeah, I definitely. All the times I went to Suchek, it would be a lot better off with him too. That 45 is a little tough, especially in midfield, but because it's not like I want like a 4,000 guy that's gonna or lower, ideally, but I'll keep him in mind from now on for sure.
Yeah, I generally don't look in that range. Anytime I see a guy like Connor Gallagher at above 4, I'm like why?
Yeah, but you probably need the 500 elsewhere, but I don't know. Not these guys.
No. All right, Rubio Dimes went to Antonio. He went to that Newcastle sort of. This is another one of these game stack sort of looks, and then you also get Armstrong. Did Shar even play? Oh yeah, he did, but he still put up a 0.
Yeah.
So this was just a matter of. So Antonio ends up at 20.9, which here, like that makes sense. Let's look at where he was in the $4. 25. Okay, so less owned. Not surprising to me. The sharp folks were generally off of Antonio. I'm almost surprised that it's this high here. But let's see some of the others. But yeah, this is a full game stack. You went for Brighton to fail, which I thought made a lot of sense. Still got to Richie and got nothing out of him. But like if you didn't have Gallagher, obviously you weren't dancing. I want to see what the highest one without Gallagher was. But the fact that Redcoat and Ceramic were both on him, like I don't know what I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this contest, and I guess it's a little cashier because it's 134 people, but only the first person gets paid. So like you got to go for upside. It's not really cashy. All right, Ceramic. Cheap goal. Chalk. Whatever. Okay. That's kind of a pivot here, but smart. Like, yeah. Makes a lot of sense to me to get to Cresswell here, especially when you're not getting to any other West Ham. But there's not really any correlation here. Is that someone from a different team in every spot? Yep. Brentford, Norwich, Southampton, Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Brighton, Palace. So maybe I'm overrating correlation a little bit. Animal gets the Elyounoussi goal with a Norwich semi-stack with Antonio and Tony. All right. Talked about Roadman. Let's look at it. He got to Barnes, Vardy. There's your. See, this is a lineup with a bunch of correlation. Villa, Everton, Barnes, Vardy, Gallagher. Okay, so Animal didn't get to Gallagher. Team Teal did. Sorry, I'm jumping around here a bunch.
That's fine.
All right. So I looked at Roadman. He was on Gallagher, another smart play. All right, Ceramic. Pairing, Buendia alone, Livermento, Emi Martinez. So this is a completely sensible. I mean, like this was a smart play to me. Like I was obviously pushing that this weekend. Zaha was a smart play at 64. Chalk. The sharps were very much on Buendia here. Livramento. Yeah. So I mean, again, Gallagher. Like so that's 2 Ceramax on Gallagher. So he likes him obviously. And to pair him with Zaha, like okay, red coat. Got it.
These guys know something. They know something. I don't. You no, you don't have that much Connor Gallagher. Something's up here.
Red coat didn't in this one, but he had El Yunusi.
Oh, Saramec though. You're on watch. I'm pocket watching from now on.
Let's see, right. He was loving on Barnes this weekend. Yeah, like I think I built this exact lineup, except maybe someone other than Barnes. Like I think this was more of my core, to be honest with you. Other than Gallagher.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, of course. Yeah.
But like, yeah, this was pretty much my core, except more I swapped out, you'll see, I swapped out Armstrong here. I swapped out St. Maximin here. I got a little bit different at second defender, but never got here. Red coat. Gross again. You got there Ings, Buendia, Young, these two. And I mean, no West Ham. So you're obviously looking at Palace do something here. They got about 17 points each, which is still more than you'd expect from either. Animal again. Gross one. I see. Not a lot of guys there that I would play. Like I wasn't playing Max Aarons if I wasn't playing. No. Cool. All right. Here's my best. It's my last one. Caught that 7.5 on Fornells. I'm surprised. I thought he would be pretty owned here. It might have just been me.
Yeah, this is a tough day to do the West Ham roulette. I mean, it didn't work out quite the same way. I think maybe that's where a lot of people they just like either faded them completely and found the money somewhere, other points somewhere else among the less money. I don't know. Yeah,
but it's the tough days. That's when you do it.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Because if you're like, I don't see it happening here, you have to think about the realistic possibility of it actually happening and weigh like, can I actually realize this leverage? And then you play that leverage. Like that was the reason to do it. And at the same time, I thought I could get leverage by actually playing Antonio because I thought he was going to be so expensive. But the big leverage play, as you see here, it was obviously Benrahma, but Antonio was a monster. So
yeah,
you kind of lose track of that. But I mean, when I look at my ownership here too, I'm really happy with it. Like obviously I would have liked to get off Dina, but I had the 2 chalk guys and I got real different here, real different here, real different here, real different here. And they all got to double digits. Armstrong had 11.4, but like he scores a goal. I'm here. So I mean, like it's still not perfect, but I'm happy with this build. Like I look at this build now and I paired them. Richie was fine as a standalone for me. I paired them, which I heard some talk about, not really pairing Ward-Prowse with the forwards, which makes sense, but I still just like to do it. So Moneyball pairing, that worked. The fact that this lineup isn't way better, I mean, it's really just the Newcastle guys.
Right.
Moneyball's, I mean, he's another GOAT. So, all right. So Newcastle stack, very low owned. Wow. I didn't realize Longstaff got 11.
Jeez. Wow. All right, man.
This was a really high scoring slate. I mean, as you can see, but like the floor guys, the floors are really high. All right. I want to look at a couple more of these, see what didn't work other than my lineups. So Redcoat's first is all the way down here. More of that Villa pairing. Hey, he got to Ashley Young again. So I don't feel as dumb. Right. Thanks, Redcoat. Let's look at some of the really bad ones. Well, you're not going to win doing this.
That's
all right. My guy Charlie, not Charlie's best day, but so he went for Brighton. Brighton didn't pop off. This was a Villa pairing that makes sense. I thought a lot about getting to Cantwell, and Reshika was the much better play, and then paired all these folks up. I can see getting to all of those. Fear the Turtle's a great player. He went with the Bowen Suchek, which I think I did too. And then the Norwich side didn't work. Young Bramson. Smart. It didn't work out. This was a nice upside play. Very high owned. Neither of them got there. Keeper, one of the few keepers who didn't work out. And then punted to Craig Dawson, which not really a lot of correlation there, but I guess you're looking for 3 points anyway. Pew played 1, or did all of his do poorly? Okay, he's got 2. Little Brentford action, got to Gross when he's not owned here. This pairing, he even had Gallagher, of course.
That's tough. Oh, man.
The 3 sharp guys were all on Gallagher.
Yep.
Didn't have him here. Now, this is a build that I would have made. I didn't, so I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I got to respect the GOAT here, but like I could have seen myself making that. I just thought there were going to be goals in Newcastle and there were. So
yeah, that's correlation city. Yeah, especially in the one you were talking about it. Yeah. So right. You said you would have had a Newcastle guy in the mix here anyway.
I didn't get to this lineup because I thought Newcastle would score. So like I don't think I played any of McCarthy.
Okay, I guess that makes that makes sense.
Everything else makes a ton of sense to me. You know, like highest goal scoring odds, a West Ham pivot. I didn't get to any Buendia, so that was I had 0 Buendia and 0 Gallagher, so I was sunk. Yeah. But all right, let's look really quickly at what won. The fact that Adam Armstrong is in the winning lineup makes me feel like better, worse. See, like my process, man. Like if I would have just gotten to Vardy and Buendia, and then Gallagher, I was never getting to. So like I wouldn't have won, but like I'm cool with where I was. I just missed heavy on a couple of guys, and they all ended up scoring like 0 exposure, 0 exposure, 0 exposure, and I was just pretty concentrated. And that's what's going to happen if you gave that goal to Armstrong and Vardy blanks. Like I'm loaded at the top, sort of thing. This is all assuming I have Gallagher anywhere. It's just like those are the kind of days you have if you really miss. Like I go pretty heavy on exposure to people when I feel they're in a good spot. Like if I looked at more of mine here, you're going to see a lot of Armstrong, a lot of Adams. Some of the guys I talked about, Suchek just didn't get there. Game stack.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
But you see a lot of the same jerseys. Punted to Cruel here to get to Antonio. But still, man, 25% owned relative to these cheap guys. We have like, I mean, he outperformed them, but his price is just going to go up. Probably not, depending on their, but. So when I went to Antonio, I got cheap elsewhere, which was basically like what you had to do, but I was like getting cheap. And if I just would have gone to Connor Gallagher, whatever. I'm okay with it. All right. Really quick. Chelsea, Liverpool. Tom, you didn't play this one, but
just wanted to watch.
It was wild.
Yeah, so, I kind of wish I would have, but I don't know. I kind of don't like to touch Liverpool showdowns anyway.
I get that.
And I was just glad to enjoy it. Yeah.
The reason I was so okay with it was because I felt like they were dogs, and I had no problem having, like, I didn't want to load up. I just interchanged. I'm like, I'll play the fullbacks and I'll interchange the forwards, and it worked out. The other thing I did though was I looked at the slate. I saw Kai Havertz for 70, I mean, 7,000, 7,000, 7,000. And it just
that's a perfect captain. Yeah.
It just seemed like that's the best leverage play. Like when you look at these formations, so like I'm already betting pretty heavy on Chelsea in my own mind, but like very expensive, both high owned, $3,000 cheaper. It's like, I got to take a lot of, not even necessarily a lot of flyers, but I did. So
right.
I won the $4 with this one. I caught the penalty, even with James.
That price of it, yeah. He's like, yeah. I got to say it again, man. That's perfect spot to like throw a guy in a captain there. Like, not to get too ahead, but like today, like Pogba was a little expensive to throw in there. there weren't a ton of guys that you could have worked it out, but
I played
like
a lot
Kai
of
is,
I played a lot of Daniel James.
yeah, exactly. Right. And that didn't work out. But Kai is, yeah, I absolutely the guy I want to, a guy I would throw in there
Yeah.
and look for savings.
So I was trying to get Mendy in places, and then just these dudes. I actually ended up fading James more than I faded Alonso because I thought Alonso, because he's so bad defensively, would be pushed up more than James, and James would have to help back. And he did with his hand.
He upped way far back. Yeah.
So this was my 11th lineup. And then my first lineup was surprisingly didn't have Havertz. That's wild.
Huh.
But
Okay.
I mean, TA had 11 crosses. He was himself very much again. But I told you I played a lot of Harvey Elliott. Here he is.
Hey, my man.
Reece James captain made it up high because he had an assist, but you got both goals.
Yeah.
Where's my other ones? Jack too. He was on the other side of the game. There's more Kai. Oh, this was the $4, so I only had so many entries. Like if you look at the $1, I'm very over. So yeah, this is the same lineup that won, except I switched out the attackers.
Oh, okay.
There's another switching out of the attackers.
Yeah.
But I got to him here again with Lukaku. I thought if Robertson came close to matching TA's output, there's a pretty stark price difference, which you can't see here because he's captain. And then look at the ownership.
Absolutely. And it seems like it worked out pretty good, but yeah. Right, it just still.
It was fine. Yeah. So like you're seeing Havertz pop up everywhere here because I'm like, I have enough floor, like floor, like just given, and he just fit in all of those spots. So it just made a lot of sense. I even had him in the cash lineup. Oh
yeah, I mean shit, why not? Yeah. Even without the captain influence, that's a pretty good price for a guy.
Yeah, it worked out. And all the money I lost in Classic, I won it right back.
Nice. It's a good day.
Can't say the same about today. All right.
Yeah.
Classic slate. This one was more frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those that we always talk about. So the first goal was Sonny. Sonny was probably like 90% owned. Lloris was 50% owned. Sar was very good. Sar put up a lot of points. I think Dennis had a decent day. Bachman was fantastic. That's who I kind of got exposure to. So then if you look over at Leeds, you talked about it. Just a little redirect from Chris Wood, and then just a little redirect from Bamford. Like neither were strikes. They were both like standing at the back post with your foot turned inward, and they just like both of them were. So the big problem for me on this slate is I had all three goal scorers. They were like the only three goal scorers I got to. And I got to plenty of Lloris.
Right.
And I 53rd was my best, like I'm playing a lot of lineups here and I lost a ton. They were so mismatched. And I worried about that because you know how we talked about Right or Great and talking about 2-game slates being more showdowns?
Mm-hmm.
I did not need to correlate as much. I just needed to find like floors and pick a couple of goal scorers.
Right. Yeah.
So here's a get off Kane and Son, get the Bergwijn, get a little Burnley exposure, play for the clean sheet. Like Bergwijn was fine. Like this isn't a horrible line. Goodmanson was awful. I thought he had an assist, but same sort of thing with Bamford. Surprise. I played a lot of Rodrigo. That was the other one that I played. But like the Lloris, Rafinha, Wood. So here's that. Because I went to Rafinha, I couldn't get up to those other guys, and I wanted Stuart Dallas, which that bit me. Like I could have paid down there and paid up there, and it would have been different. Kane and Son. I just took the L here because I needed 26, and I figured I would rather take a 0 than a negative 1.5. I don't recommend it, but
no.
But this one, like as I was building it, I was like, this sucks. Like I'm forcing Skip in there. I'm taking a dog. I'm taking a guy that is not playing. Like I got what I needed out of everyone but Kane.
Yeah. This is the story of the day was Rafinha here. It's as long as you didn't like have to like force set him into somewhere, like you could find so many points elsewhere. Don't even if you don't even think about leads, that's the one too. But
I think on this
God, what a
slate,
killer.
if you're fading Rafinha, you're like,
Yeah, you're getting real contrarian, of course. Yeah, right. Yeah.
which like again, that's when you do it. But I just did not feel like I thought there was no way he missed his floor here.
Oh, right. I know,
He
man.
didn't. He didn't. He got
No,
11.
he did hit it right, but for 10,000, you could find that somewhere else. You could make up those points. That's the worst. I hate that. I hate when they still make even sometimes a goal. They someone picks up a goal, 15 points, but they're 12,000 bucks or something like that, and it's like, well, yeah, I totally missed because I had to get this guy, and look where it got me.
Right. Right.
And I thought I was being smart too by fading Kane a lot here, which I guess worked out, but I still also always had Rafinha. So that's another one of my biases, getting Kane out of there.
I would guess that a lot of these lineups have one of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like this insane thing to fade both of them. But
no,
I don't think a lot of people did it. They were both 50% owned. So like for people to do it with both, like that's either going to be all of these or not many. Let's take a look.
I am curious. Yeah.
Like you could fit Son. I want to say you can fit. If you played Son at a midfield spot, you could play him with Kane, Bamford, and Wood.
Oh yeah.
You probably.
Oh yeah. You sure?
And then you probably had Bachman at keeper because he put up 12, and then the rest was kind of a crapshoot. All right, let's take a look. Our guy, Bet Like an Antelope, one of my faves. Bamford, Wood.
Oh, yeah.
Son, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So you're right. You faded both of them.
Yep.
But had Lloris. And I think that's why you were fading them.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
It's a nice correlation here. This is a smart lineup. This is a really smart lineup for my guy. Yeah. I didn't like punting.
No, I guess not.
But it worked. Faded both. Even got to Rodrigo, who saved you money and did the same as Kane. But I did not expect Reggie and Tanganga both to be double digits.
Right. I didn't expect Sanchez either. I guess even like the clean sheet comes in for him there, but he was putting crosses downfield all day. He was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's taking over that Toby role where he's bombing forward.
Yeah, I'll keep that in. I'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, it comes into play sometime other time. I don't know. We'll see. He's probably gonna be too expensive anyway.
Here's one that fades Son for Rafinha and still because Bamford. McNeil, I think, was the guy here.
He finally did it. I guess he probably got close to him, but he justified himself.
He's like the better Jared Bowen.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, because those two are paired a lot in my mind for that reason.
Yep.
It might be because the jersey color but they both let me down. Yep. Yeah, but yeah, I think he is the much more stable version.
And he's
especially because there's so many other people on West Ham. So
I think he's younger, so he's gonna get better too. Yeah, I think I'm off Bowen, which is like the time when I should get back to him. All right.
Yeah, right.
Wow, Leroy Sané here with Barnes, Wood. Yeah, so like the margins are pretty tight up here. No one really ran away with this. And yeah, I mean, this makes a ton of sense. But, I played a lot of Josh King.
Okay.
4,400, like the punt down. Just made sense.
That's tough.
Kane only got him by 2 points.
Oh, really? That's that extra 6,000 or whatever difference that'll get you there. 4,000. I don't know. Did you get to any? Did you punt to Musa at all? Did you get any Sissoko action in?
I think so.
They should have put Danny Rose on. Why didn't they also have Danny Rose?
I was upset with that.
Yeah, come on.
I want to say I got to him. Oof. Maybe in the dollar. I don't know. All right, let's move forward. I don't want to look at that slate anymore. Like it was just such a small slate, and it was fade Kane and Rafinha. That was the answer.
Yeah, and why would you ever go? Why would you? Yeah, I would never go. I should now. I'm definitely going to go as far as both of them, but like I don't know. Rafinha should be a 19, 20 point guy against Burnley.
The thing
I
I
don't know.
don't do enough is I don't fade two of the big shot guys. Generally, if I fade one, I'm like, yeah, I've done enough, which
Yeah.
in reality is not necessarily true. Probably never true. Like you probably need to, but
Yeah.
as I allow myself, one of the things I hear from a lot of really smart people is that the issue with newer players, like newer you and newer me, is we don't take enough risks.
Yeah. I
And
see that.
I
Yeah.
have started to take risks more and more, and I have made more in the last 2 weeks than I had in the last, like, since last November.
Hmm.
And the sample size is so small. It's not necessarily like I'm running good. My process in MMA is refined thanks to Blender because he put out a video on the Roto Grinders YouTube, which is all about MMA, but it's probably the best video I have found on YouTube in terms of like how you should be playing things, the way that he breaks it down and like shows you. I mean, he shows you the entire process and builds a spreadsheet. He doesn't build the spreadsheet live, but he goes over a spreadsheet, and it's a pretty low level spreadsheet. Like it's not. I made it in like an hour. That's not true. I
All
made it in
right.
like 6 hours over the course of six works lunches at work. Um,
Oh, okay.
and I even went
Nice.
above and beyond what he did and like did the VLOOKUPs. Like I had it automatically pull odds from,
Uh,
so that took a little extra time. But like anyway, I'm getting off onto this tangent, but like that whole thing is like the whole spreadsheet is like, where do I find leverage? Like where do I find risks? And some of my lineups are so bad, but it makes a lot of sense. And if anyone wants to like expand sports, like he taught when I was on his show, he was like, you should try MMA. And I was like, I'll try MMA. And I have
works.
taken time to get used to it, but like I am learning things with soccer from playing MMA and having a
Oh,
completely
nice.
different process. Like I'm hand building everything in soccer. I'm not going to use an optimizer here because projections don't really matter and I would fuck it up. Um, the way that I'm doing MMA is purely optimizer. Like I don't know these people. I use the projections insofar as they are a weight, but it's like fine leverage and ownership. And
Hmm.
now that I'm doing that here, like it's so much easier to see it. I've grown so much just by playing MMA. Like my soccer has grown, I think, and
Hmm.
been very helpful.
Cool, man.
Also,
Yeah, I can't afford. Go ahead.
good. I was just
I,
gonna
I was
say,
saying, you go, you go.
Blender does a pregame show every day on Roto Grinders and only does baseball currently because it's baseball season. Not only he did soccer and MMA this weekend on Friday, but I've been watching it every day and I've learned so much. And I don't play baseball, so like just you actually get to see the concepts implemented in different ways. And I recommend it to anybody out there. I'm not just trying to like honk Blender, but like he's helped me a lot, so I'm going to.
He's a smart guy.
Very
Thanks, Blender. Thanks for everything you do, man. Yeah, we appreciate it.
truly, truly, truly. All right, say what you were gonna say. I'm sorry.
I was all I think I was going to say was that I would do other sports to pick up on that edge, except I can't afford to lose any more money.
That's how I
That's
was.
about it though.
That's
Unless
how I
there's
was.
dime times and other things. I'll actually dime times. Yeah.
Well, when I started playing MMA, I felt the same way, and I was like, I can't believe I'm even using like 2% of my budget. And then the
Mhm.
Euros, it was like at the start of the Euros, and I was just down, 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 down.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I was like, I have to scale this back. So I stopped using the optimizer. I stopped paying for the optimizer and I started hand building 20 max lineups and playing like $60. And I wasn't very good at that either, because I wasn't taking enough risks. And
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's part of it. It's just a
Mhm.
wildly variant sport. So it's hard to like draw too many conclusions. But the
Oh,
one
okay.
conclusion I've drawn is like some 6% owned fighter happened last night. Like I had way over the field on him because I was just leveraging ownership. He gets a triangle choke in the
Huh.
second round. He gets 100 points and like 6% owned. And I was like, yeah, it happens every slate, every single slate. So it's just a matter of like getting the exposure. But
Right. You said something a couple weeks back about and it's going to stick with me the rest of the season because I'll be like, comparing it to see how it went. But what was it like? If you're whiffing, it means you took a risk and it just didn't pay off. but like, yeah, you were like different enough, not, you were unsafe enough that would get you over the top if it worked out. And
Right.
there's so many of these I've been, making back about half of my entry or whatever. That's being safe, and it's not really getting me anywhere. So yeah, I need to get crazier with it. I need to have
Well,
some variance on my lines.
see, but another thing that I found is like when I look at some of my like this, okay, this is kind of a perfect example. And I probably did it here too. Sometimes I get way too variant. Like I get way more variance than I needed. And on showdowns, like it makes more sense. It makes a lot more sense. And especially
Right.
so like this field is, it's only showing me 100, but this wasn't even a big prize pool. But like some of my entries would just look ridiculous. These are not.
Right.
Like that's not crazy. It's just like, yeah, Stevie might like he's gonna be the lowest owned, 8% owned at captain as opposed to 28 and 20. And I'm sure he was not sure he was higher than SAR or lower than SAR, but then the other two were 3%. Yeah. So SAR actually would probably been a better pivot. The other two were just onslaught builds with a keeper. Not as crazy as I normally get. The winner of this, Charlie, Faded Kane. Yeah, that lineup makes a lot of
Yep.
sense. Way to go, Charlie. Doing it again. I wish I could show you some of my old ones where I would just throw one lineup into these big ones. And like, you don't want to be so variant that you give yourself a 1% chance. It's just like, so what I did this weekend with Antonio is like, and maybe it's not the best example, but like if I'm going to pay up for Antonio, who ends up being super owned anyway, like you need to get a lot less owned guys in there. And that doesn't mean like, all right, I'm going to take, God, who else was on that slate? Like Musa Genipo.
Like yeah, right.
And Cantwell's a good one.
Okay.
And Connor Gallagher. I'm just kidding.
And Connor, yeah.
Christian Benteke.
Okay, yeah.
And that might not be the best example, but like that's a lot of variance you need there. Like all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a position where you need the three low level players on low level teams. They all need to score
to get like to pull into. Yeah, you need Connor Gallagher's in every game pretty much. Yeah.
But like if it's City against Norwich,
right,
and
okay.
you're like, I'm gonna play De Bruyne and I'm gonna play, God, who's owned for them at the Mahrez, and I'm gonna play Ederson. Like you either, well, if you're playing Ederson, you're not gonna run it back with Norwich, but like the build off of those City pieces is gonna be like, all right, who's the second biggest favorite? Who's the third biggest favorite? Can I get exposure to like Vardy or like an Antonio when he was cheaper? Like that's going to be so high owned that if you do that, you're going to get such negative leverage compared to the field. But if I'm playing those guys that are going to be 50, 60% owned, like that might be the time where you're like, all right, I'm throwing out Benteke and XYZ. Like if they're so owned, then you find it. If it's middle of the road, like Antonio at 25%, I guess it's very slate dependent. I'm trying to remember who scored, but you could probably make that build work based on, I mean, Gallagher.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I'm probably going off the rails a little bit, but like you don't want to just get crazy. If you need to win it, if you're playing the Millie Maker in NFL, you need to get crazy. These contests aren't necessarily big enough that you have to get that wild. Like if you're playing dime time, like how many people, what's the biggest dime time you can remember in terms of entrance? Because that's kind of how you should gauge how crazy you need to be.
Oh,
1,600?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, something like that. It's usually what they are.
Like they're, even there probably you can still afford to like, I mean, I don't think my Havertz captain and Salah scoring and then a bunch of floor lineup like that, no one duped me. And that was like a 300 person contest, but like I didn't have to get nuts.
Yeah, like I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, there are a couple ones I'm surprised that no one is splitting on that. But It worked out there. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, people are not thinking Havertz, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, right.
But just before you submit your lineup, look at it and you're like, do I have the correct amount of leverage? And then like lean
right,
towards more.
right,
You
right.
don't have to do
I
more if
got
you're comfortable.
yeah, I'm gonna keep in mind some of those guys that are, yeah, like the second biggest underdog or something like that. Someone who could flip it around on whatever and pull it through. Cause that might be, yeah, that's where you would that's where you could find it. That yeah, that the right amount of variance there. Maybe.
Right.
We'll see.
And
I'll be thinking about that down the line.
you never know, and it's very, but I think the biggest thing for you, if I'm you and you look at the odds and you're like, yeah, of course I'm going to have a lot of city, or of course I'm going to have, just take a second before you build and think about like, all right, so what does the rest of my lineup have to look like for me to win?
Okay.
And
Okay.
if you want to get exposure to West Ham, like just make it Fornals or make it Suchek or make it Kufal. You know, that's what I was doing, is like I was like, these guys are going to be high owned, so I'm going to get weird on the team that will be owned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's contest specific, it's max entry specific. It's, you know, you have to take all of that stuff
Yeah,
into
right.
the account. Where you're playing though,
Mm-hmm.
you're already taking advantage of, again, this is a blenderism. And so is the thing about taking shots if you're coming in the low parts. That was also a thing that I learned from him.
Okay.
Oh shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. What were we talking about?
Something that Blender said about
Yeah, what was before that?
in like the quarters or something like that, what I can do or whatever.
Okay.
You're about to unlock the secret of it to
Yes,
me.
no, I remember. You're already taking advantage of the biggest edge, and that's playing the weakest competition.
Okay.
And you may think of yourself as being weak competition, but we've seen that you're not. So you're already doing that. But like now, if you just pull that leverage lever,
Mm-hmm.
that should unlock it. And it's not going to be one of those things where you show up next slate and you're like, this is perfect and it works. Like it's never like that. But just know that when you're to a point that you feel comfortable with your process, like look for the next thing you can be doing. And I think you can afford to take more risks.
Yeah. I definitely in these classics. The showdowns are I'm like tinkering with a little bit. It's just whatever. I got to get the right guys in the mix there. But I need to take more risks in the classics for sure.
And I apologize in advance, because most likely as soon as you start doing that, you're going to lose one, and it's gonna be annoying. So, but then some of these bigger contests, like I wouldn't be surprised if first place for this Wolves United, first place for the big one was 20,000. So I wouldn't be surprised if the quarter was like $200, which like $200 with your bankroll is pretty big, right?
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would double me up.
Yeah. So just get weird. Try to win that first one. If you lose, how much you play in the court? $5?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a $5 on the max.
Yeah. So like that's 40 slates.
Yeah.
That you would have to completely blank on before you're negative, even if you hit it.
That's, I really, I get a little like edgy about the quarter stuff, just because it's like, that's $5 gone. That's $5 gone, but it's not $5 gone. A lot of times it's like $2 gone, $3 gone, something like that. It's not really that bad.
Yeah. And also the money in your DraftKings account, unless you think you're going to need it to eat, like that's an investment, and it's not really $5 gone. It's like if your stock that you bought for $5 went down a little bit.
That's true.
And I have a horrible time remembering that, because you look at that, especially like now that I've moved up in stakes, and I was down $1,500 in the middle of the Euros, and I'm like, why am I so bad? And now my bankroll has doubled since then, and then some. Like it's just the swings again. It's insane, but like your good days will make up for the bad days. You're gonna have to go through some bad days, and if you pull that leverage lever, you're more likely, because as soon as the chalk fails, you're going to be in so much better position, and you're going to need so much less to happen to win.
All right.
That's why there's ownership to the whatever. You saw the ownership on Kane and Rafinha, and you saw what happened at the top of that leaderboard when both of them failed. It was like bananas. And like those lineups weren't crazy. They still had Son, they still had Lloris. So
yeah. I don't know. I wish sometimes I wish there was like a 30 entry or something like that, just so I could like just play around with those last ones or whatever. But like I get through and it's like, oh, I've just been plugging in and out one guy for like 15 lineups. Oh shit, like what do I have to do now? I really gotta like tick to make sure I'm like doing
that's
that
hard.
only so many times, only so many.
That's hard to do.
You lose track, man.
So what I kind of use as a gauge when I'm lineup building there is as soon as I'm about to hit submit and I'm like, this lineup sucks. Unless I think it has a real shot at winning, which I wouldn't think it sucks. Like if I feel that way, I'm like, all right, this build has ended. Like change your captain. And generally, what I've been doing lately is like once I made like 8 Kai Havertz captains, which is about where I was. I was gonna say I think my next move would then be to go to the other team, like play the hedge with the other side of the game, but that's not necessarily true. Generally, what I do is just go to who I think is the second best option.
Okay.
So I think I actually went to Lukaku because he was so expensive, which I use as a gauge all the time. But you kind of saw with Antonio, like that's not necessarily a good gauge. Like just because someone's expensive doesn't mean his ownership's going to go down because people's ability to predict the future is inefficient.
Oh yeah. Sure is.
And they're going to be like, yeah, Antonio's going to score. So,
yeah. I with the Antonio ownership was kind of funny. Was it like a 30% with one of them and one of them we looked at?
25, yeah, was the higher one.
I don't know to make if it's like a combo of like people like seeing that big number and big price and plugging them in, and then some people like smarter people, the sharps seeing that and like finding the cheap ways to get there. I meant to say that before, but I totally forgot about it. It's probably like a combo of smart people and just like someone just doing sorting by points or whatever.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
But like at 25% at that price, 11.7 on a 50,000 with 5 games or whatever, like if you made me make every lineup in a contest, I don't think I could have come up with 25% of the field and been like, I'm okay with this lineup. Obviously, there's a bunch of duplication in there. Like I'm sure plenty of those lineups are duped because so many of them suck.
Right.
So yeah, like you don't always have to fade the. I'm trying to think of the bit on good chalk and bad chalk. Dude, I listen to like this is all I do.
There's like a RotoWire thing. What is this? A podcast?
No, it's more Blender stuff. It's more Blender stuff.
You gotta start citing him. We gotta start putting a citation on the bottom of the screen.
I legit listen for him. I now listen to every one of his pregame shows. I listened to his RotoWire show with the rest of those dudes were awesome. And I listen to every one of his podcasts, which are like 3 hours long. Like I think I have heard Blender speak in my ear, like more than my own mother at this point. So I can just recite some of the stuff ad nauseum. Some of it I just forget, but good chalk, bad chalk. You just, if someone's chalk, you have to decide how many of the lineups involving him are actually plus EV, like how many lineups actually get you enough leverage. So like, I probably could find it here. I don't know that I captained. I don't know that I captained Bruno a lot. I imagine those would be closer to here. Okay. See, like it's not Bruno and Greenwood and whatever. It's not Bruno and Greenwood and Pogba and then 2 punt center backs or whatever. I was like, all right, if I'm going to cap Bruno here, like I need a goal from Traore or Neves.
Right. Yeah.
Which we didn't even cover this game. Late Greenwood winner.
Right. Heartbreaker.
I'm gonna play the opposing keeper for upside, and that wasn't even a Fernandez. Yeah, I don't know how much I actually played on the cap because again, like those lineups suck.
Right. I like barely got to him at captain, so it was like, so this is gonna turn out pretty good for me, and I still like went only like half or something on this one.
I'm saying I was winning $600 at the final whistle, and then the clean sheets dropped me. I lost 200.
It was, well, I know for me, the thing that killed me was the cheap guy that I went to was Pogba. And I thought I had a
Cheap.
bunch of De Gea too, and I don't know. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, not that cheap, which ended up screwing me over. But like,
That's the
I
thing.
don't know how my De Gea ones didn't cross the line either. I don't know. I just didn't have too much Bruno. I held on to Bruno even with those ones, and I got to get him out of there.
And there weren't a ton of good plays on United anyway.
No,
I thought
there
Greenwood was
weren't.
a good play, even at his price. I got to Pogba
Yeah.
because he's just been hot.
Hmm.
I played Sancho because he's Jaden Sancho.
Yeah, I spent a little too much time just swapping him out, hoping to get him in there, and point one out of Jaden. Just tough day.
Even my Bruno
Tough
fades
day.
aren't that good. Well, because I used it to get to Sancho. But
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And almost none of those. It's Greenwood or nothing.
that was my first
Luke
lineup.
Shaw. Did Luke Shaw have a good? Yeah, he had a double digits. Okay, he's probably the only other one, I think. Varane too.
Varane, yeah, with the assist.
Varane at 11. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm just looking for my
So it
Bruno
was.
fades. See, I didn't fade Bruno nearly enough.
I don't think I faded him one time.
And when I did, I
Fading
used it to
him.
get to Sancho.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here's a Bruno captain lineup. Oh, I think that was the same one, but like I got weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though
Can't
like
believe
Trier and Neves with the cork.
I can't believe Marcel only pulled in 5 points. I thought he was all over the place.
So we thought it was going to be Marcel and Neves, and it ended up being Moutinho and Trincao.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised the Greenwood line actually won. Sorry, I'm like seriously ADD right now. I'm like clicking all of
That's
this.
fine, man. That's fine. We're winding down. We gotta. We're gonna make this one 2 hours long because we're not gonna get to record next weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Is there international stuff over the weekend? I don't know. We'll find out.
Now you can see
I'm not
us
too worried
talking.
about it.
There it is. I couldn't find the screen share button. We're not making this 2 hours long. I'm done.
Yeah, I got
I've
nothing.
stolen enough of Blender's content and recited it on my own show and acted like a smart person. I gotta save some.
Yeah, exactly. Pepper it in a little bit. Yeah, to keep it saved up for the next one. Don't give it all to me for free like that. Come on, man. I not, but that now I'm really tilting because I want to get out there and get weird with it. I want
Yeah,
to.
right. You gotta wait till. Oh, you gotta wait 2 weeks.
Do it right now. I gotta wait 2 weeks now, and I'm gonna forget how to do it in the meantime.
So
whatever.
Next Friday, when you're sitting at your desk at work, run this show back.
Okay. I'm gonna
if I'm honest with you,
yeah,
I re-listen to my Golazzo after I do it every time because I forget what I have said.
Oh,
like I'll
wait,
take
this before you build or after after the okay, all right.
Because I'll remember like 2 high-level points and be like, all right, but who else did I like? So but it
I'm also
helps.
I'm not giving out Galazzo knowledge when I'm talking on here. I'm just going blah 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 wah wah wah, etc. And I won $2.
It's fine though. You're learning.
I'm not that down on myself, guys. Don't worry about it. It's not that bad. I am having fun. It's just
I talk over.
I like I said, I want to get out. I want to do it again. I want to get weird. Now I gotta wait. Oh well.
There gotta be. I mean, there's like 17 other slates today if you want to play Mexican League or.
Oh well, that's the problem is I'll be really getting weird there. I might as well do that just so I'm not coming at it with a bias, just to see how that works.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try it there, see how that works, and then I'll just do a whole other sport.
I didn't know any of the dudes that I was playing in that Champions League slate.
Yeah. The qualifiers? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was playing dudes from like Malmo.
Yeah. Okay.
Which like I had reference from their games, like their first legs, like the young boys guys.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I didn't really know. But I generally lose those. But you have access to a lot of good information at FSI.
Yeah,
course for almost everything.
It's so beautiful. It really is. It's great. And you can just go from there and take it and put your own spin on it and see how it ends up. But you're starting off with a really, really solid base there.
Yeah,
So get on that Discord, man.
that's
Get in
helpful.
there.
All right, dude. I think we've given enough information for better or
Let's
worse.
do it. Yeah. Hey, for everyone who's listening on Monday, hope your week's starting off well.
If you're still
Putting in
listening,
pay. Yeah. Yeah. Please, thank you. Thank you so much.
we'll shoot. And we'll see what these it's Labor Day weekend this weekend too. We'll see what these international qualifiers look like, or whatever, World Cup qualifiers probably at this point.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And those
Those,
are, I mean, hey, at least I'll be able to go into that and not worry about what this means to me personally when I whiff on something. It's just because it's international, and I don't care.
I've really been missing the magic of the Euros. Dying to get
Yeah.
back to international football, let me tell you.
The group stages were fun. I had a good time with the group stages, but I really stopped even putting any money after that.
Yeah.
That was the time. All right, brother.
I don't want to think about
Let's
it.
get to it.
All right.
Let's get to it, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I know we blathered there at the end, but hopefully you can pull some good information from this. And we will probably take next weekend off. I wouldn't mind a week off, but maybe I do well and decide I want to get on camera and tout my stuff, but probably not because it's international football.
Maybe you'll see me flexing. I don't know.
It's true. We get the solo show. We've been waiting for the solo show.
I need to have something to talk about to justify it. Once but I know you want to be there for the big break, so I don't know. We'll get it. Don't worry about it.
Sooner or later. That's true. Yeah, when you win, I gotta be here. But all right, kids. Till next time. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, all that. We'll see you next time.